Hello YouTube, I'm back with another review. My first review ever was my P90, and I said I was going to do the review of my cm16, my fully upgraded cm16, because when I was looking for it I seen a lot of comments on the reviews of these guns asking people what they did to their gun to make it more accurate, and I went ahead and fully upgraded mine because that were my plans to begin with when I bought the gun. I bought it because it was a really nice, cheap polymer body. Really cheap polymer body. These guns, I got mine in a package deal. 5 magazines, a battery, a smart charger, gun bag, the gun, 5,000 G&G, .25 BBs, a mask, and some goggles for $250. I don't like the store I got it from, so I'm not going to give them a shout out because actually they advertise this gun as a DST with the high torque motor and high torque gears. So when I started upgrading it and realized it was a standard G&G, I was kind of pissed, but it was still a really good deal, even though similar packages run about $350 and you don't get as much stuff. So it was a really good deal still, so I'm just not going to give the store shout outs just because they advertise it wrong, and I think that's messed up, and they still advertise it wrong even though I messaged them and told them it was advertised wrong. So let's get into the gun. I changed the whole gearbox, everything. I got a Lonex gearbox shell, Lonex Teflon coated cylinder head, Mad Bull O-ring aluminum air nozzle, Garter double O-ring cylinder head, Lonex blue palm piston, the Lonex aluminum ported expanding O-ring piston head. I had my angle of engagement corrected. Got the Mad Bull ball bearing ultimate spring guide, Garter 16:1 gears. Pretty sure they're 16. Yeah, Garter 16:1 gears. Garter tappet plate, Garter anti-reversal latch, and Garter bushings. Then I have a Lonex A2 motor. That's the high torque, strictly high torque, no speed. A1 I think is the high speed, high torque motor. The A2 is the high torque. Other than that, I really don't know. I've never had any other Lonexes or not really cared. Those are the two good ones depending on what you want, A1, A2. I had a MOSFET installed so I could run a LiPo. I wasn't going to run a LiPo because they burn out your trigger contacts and stuff otherwise if you don't have a MOSFET. And I just don't like having LiPo batteries in my house because if you forget them on the charger they can catch on fire and stuff. But I have a flame-proof bag and everything, so I guess I'm going to run a LiPo because the battery that came with this would not run this gun after all these internals were done. Came with a 9.6 Valken battery, which is a nice battery. It's 1600 mAh. It's a really nice battery, and it ran it perfect before I did these upgrades, but it wouldn't even turn over the motor unless you pulled the trigger twice. It would half cock it once and fire the second time. It's pretty funny. So I had to, for a NIM battery that I had laying around, because I didn't have any LiPos at the time, I had to get my 12-volt matrix battery out, and it ran it fine. It ran it perfect, actually. Had really nice trigger response and everything. The only problem with that battery, if you guys know it, it's a monster, and it still didn't fit in this monster hand grip that I bought. I'll get into that later because I still got a few more internals too, but that was pretty funny. I got a tight bore Angel Custom stainless steel inner barrel. That's a 6.01 diameter. It's 363 millimeters long. If you guys are wondering what the length of this barrel is for the carbine, this is the carbine length. I have a matrix flash hider on it from an M249 gun. I'll look at that. There you go. A little bit better. The hop-up chamber is a Pro-Win. The bucking is a G&G green bucking that I shaved a little nub off the inside of, and I run an Angel Customs H-nub. And that's pretty much it for the inside. The outside, I made this hand grip myself. It's actually the original pistol grip that I took a bicycle inner tube and left it, whole, and then cut a piece out of it. Took the pistol grip off and cut it to the right length and shape, and put some soap inside of it, soapy water inside of it, and slid it on and let it dry. And it's really comfortable. Somebody else, one of my buddies, showed me that. It's a really good trick. And then I wrapped it in the camo grip tape, and it's really, really comfortable now. I like it. So I'm not going to get a new pistol grip. That worked out great. So there's a little thing if you're on a budget. That's a good thing to know. This hand grip that I was talking about, that's a Magpul MOESL handguard. That's for a reel. M4 or AR-15 rifle, you have to remove the heat shield that's inside of it. There's two little like rivets at the bottom that you're not going to be able to see because I have a tablet that I'm filming on. So, but there's two little metal rivets on the bottom. All you have to do to get the heat shield out, if you want to run a front battery, if not, you don't need to take it out, is drill those two little things out. The heat shield pops right out. The only thing I'm going to really change other than that on the outside is my handguard, or my stock, I mean, to match my handguard. They have the SL Magpul stock, and I'm waiting on that. And a PEQ box for the front up here, so I can run my PEQ LiPo that I got, so I can actually fire my gun correctly. So it has great trigger response with the 12 volt, but I haven't ran it with the LiPo yet, so I'm guaranteed with the 11.1 LiPo it's going to have a really nice trigger response and a really nice rate of fire. Even though it's a high torque motor, it's got 16-to-1 gears, so it's got a pretty decent rate of fire. When we chronoed it to begin with, I had the 120 spring in it. With all this stuff that I did to it, that was way too hot. Shot 450, like consistently 450, 447. So it was way too hot. It wasn't a DMR. I was not trying to do that. I wanted to leave the fully automatic. I don't use the fully automatic really, but I wanted it there just in case for like suppression fire and stuff like that. So yeah, that's where we're at. So I would recommend this gun definitely. And if I was on a budget, this is what I would do. I would change the air system. Like the cylinder head's garbage. You could probably make it a lot better by Teflon taping it, but a double O-ring is going to get you a lot better air seal. The air nozzle doesn't have an O-ring. It has a cheap plastic air nozzle in them. So definitely get a new air nozzle. The spring guide did not have ball bearings on it. Definitely get a new spring guide. Especially if you're going for high FPS. Going for high FPS, then you need a new spring too, because they come with a 110. But I should have just kept my 110 to begin with, apparently, because that's what I ended up back with. But I changed it to the irregular pitch E-Vike 110 spring, and those are nice because they get tighter coils in the middle, so they don't where they usually bind at, so it don't wear your spring out as quick. So I didn't mind it. And the motor, change the motor definitely. Unless you have a Top Tech. If you want to spend a few extra dollars to get the Top Tech, I'm pretty sure they come with a MOSFET. They come with an O-ring air nozzle. They come with a 25K motor. And a few other things too. I'm not sure. There's a few videos on here of reviews of them if you guys want to look at those. They're not much more. But if you plan on upgrading your gun anyway, then get the cheaper model like I did. Also, the trigger. The G&G triggers, I don't know what it is, but they seem to have a really long trigger pull on them. But it's also in part because of the way the trigger is designed. The trigger on the G&Gs kind of leans forward, like the way it's shaped, it kind of pushes forward. So it makes the trigger pull seem a lot longer than it really is. So it's not something you necessarily have to change, but I would if it was me. Another thing I would do if I was on a budget, I'd still get a tight bore barrel. I would keep the original hop-up chamber that comes with the G&G because they work great. There's not a problem. I didn't have a problem with mine. I just did it just because, honestly. I would flat hop it though, and there's videos on here of how to flat hop it. I'm not going to get into that right now, but the G&G hop-up chambers, if you flat hop them, you can do it with a pencil eraser. You don't even have to buy the kit really, and it makes a world of difference if you flat hop and put a tight bore in it and do your air system. You're going to notice massive increase in FPS just doing those things without even changing your spring. I see a lot of people on here say the first thing they ask, oh, what do I upgrade my gun to increase FPS? What you really want to do is increase the accuracy, and you're kind of wording it wrong. You might want to increase FPS too, but a lot of fields don't let you go over 350, 400, depending on the field you're at, unless you want to run it as a sniper, which is going to have rules of engagement like 100-foot, 75-foot engagements, so on and so forth. Mine, I can walk right up to you and bang you. To play airsoft, you know what I'm talking about. So, high FPS isn't necessarily the way to go. I dropped mine down, like I said, it shoots 400 now with the 110 spring in it. Shoots 394 to 405. They let me on the field with it. and it's just as accurate as it was when it shot 450. It was fun to shoot at 450, but that's not my style of playing, and I have a sniper rifle for that if I wanted to play, which I'll probably end up doing a review on next. Actually, this is the magazine that came with the package. It's a really nice magazine. I don't run it because I don't like high caps really. I'd rather run mid caps. I like the plastic Elite Force mid caps. That's what I run. You can get them in, I got mine in 10 packs. They're like 40, 50 bucks for a 10 pack of them. They're pretty good for the 140 rounds. But this is the stock G&G winding one, metal. It's really nice high cap. But the reason why I don't really run it, I don't like winding it. And not only that, here's another trick for you guys. I shimmed my channel right here. There's a little channel right here that your magazine slides into. Little groove right there. And you can't see what I did, but I took electrical tape and just built it up in there until the magazine didn't wobble around anymore, because there's a lot of wobble in the magazines. And I didn't think about it when I did it, but I shimmed it to my Elite Force magazines, which are plastic or polymer, whatever you want to call it. The G&G is metal, so it has these seams on it where it was made, so it fits really tight. And it goes in there, but you have to hold it straight as you put it in, otherwise it won't lock in to your hop-up chamber. So it won't lock into your mag release button. It won't do anything. So in a hurry, it's hard to put in once you shim your mag well like that. So that's why another reason I don't run it. I would recommend this gun definitely though. Like I said, if you're on a budget, really, really nice gun for really, really cheap that you can make really, really nice for really, really cheap. You don't have to do everything I did to it. I just wanted to because it's my main gun besides my P90 I'm building. I did a review on that one already, but it's now gutted, and I emailed Bingo Customs last week or 2 weeks ago, and the Gen 2 Hydra was out. So Bingo is making the new drop-in gearbox for the P90s. So once they're done with that, I've been saving up and I'm going to buy one of those and HPA my P90, which is the reason why this is an AEG and not an HPA gun. Otherwise, you'd be looking at a combat machine with an HPA system in it right now. So I definitely recommend this gun. You can find them on eBay used, pretty cheap. And they're really nice and really durable, so they're usually still functional when you find them on eBay. So you can get them for pretty cheap, and if you want to buy just the gun, I've seen them low, brand new, as low as 100 bucks for this model. So it's a really inexpensive model, and the parts that I was talking about getting that upgrade them, you can find online for really, really cheap. You can buy it, you can bargain shop and budget shop and shop around on eBay and everything, and find the same stuff that I got in my gun, probably for a lot cheaper, but I just didn't want to do that and wait around, you know. So I wanted it built now. So that's my G&G combat machine. It's the cm16 carbine, not the Raider model. And I love it. Definitely recommend it. Thumbs up. Great job, G&G.